Hello, and welcome to this week's live weekly warm-up. This week, Facebook and Instagram are working, so that always makes it more fun. And this one's really fun because it's sort of concluding a little bit of a series that I did a little unintentionally. But a couple weeks ago, we did a sort of squeaking through the partials exercise to work on finding the Altissimo voicing. Last week we did Kelly Burke's sort of fake Altissimo fingerings, trying to get into the Altissimo. And today we have sort of our final test for getting smooth transitions into the Altissimo. And that is coming from Galper's great method book, Tone, Technique, and Staccato. And I'll actually get into it in a minute. First, I want to apologize to Instagram because you guys have kind of a weird angle. I have a new setup a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to make everything look good. So that's why it's a little bit weird if you're on Instagram. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook and I'm looking down, that's where Instagram's at. And for Instagram, I'm looking up at everybody else. So, but don't worry about that. The exercise is still great. And what the exercise is very similar to the 12th long tones that we've done before, where you play a note in the Chalumeau, press the register key, and then play an arpeggio going down. So you play sort of the root note in the Chalumeau. When you press the register key, it goes up to the 5th, and then you play 5, 3, 1, and play down the arpeggio. This exercise is identical to that, except what we do is we play our note in the Chalumeau, and then we go up to the 5th again, but instead of playing the 5th in the clarion by just pressing the register key, we actually play the 5th up in the Altissimo with whatever fingering works for that note. And then the pattern of this follows more or less the like close scale pattern, where it goes around the circle of fourths, or the circle of fifths counterclockwise, if you want to think of it that way. So it goes from major to minor. So it's G major, G in the Chalumeau, D in the Altissimo, B, G, D, B, G, and then E minor, E, B, G, E, B, G, E, and then C major, C, G, E, C, G, E, C. So this is easy enough to follow along with if you're really comfortable with your arpeggios and your major and minor triads. If not, you should just get the Galper book, Tone, Technique, and Staccato, because it is amazing and has so many great exercises in it. And it's on page 22 if you already have the book and want to sort of follow along. One other note that I think is easy to overlook, but is really important on this exercise, is the way that he writes it is a quarter note on beat 3, it's in 3/4. So it's a quarter note pickup on beat 3 to a half note on beat 1, and then quarter, half note. And I think the reason why it's important to catch that is because it makes the low note a pickup to the high note. So even on the low note, you should be aiming forward and thinking forward to that high note that you're going to, so that you can make a smooth transition. So let me give it a little demonstration. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's pretty long. It goes through all 24 keys. So I'll do it just maybe the first line or two so you get an idea of how it goes. And as always, with any long tone or any warm-up exercise, we want to make sure that it sounds really good. So there's a few transitions in there I didn't like, so I went back, did them again, and got it going really exactly how I wanted. I should mention also that the highest note in this, in the Altissimo register, it only goes up to like an A sharp or a B flat. So technically on that one, the E minor, I did E in the Chalumeau and then B in the clarion rather than the Altissimo. So that's one pattern where it's not exactly right. That pattern also happens on F and on E, where F goes up to the 5th C in the clarion rather than the Altissimo. I'm not really sure why Galper sort of limits it to like high B flat as the highest note, but we definitely can play up to the super altissimo C. So if you want to adapt the exercise a little bit, you're more than welcome to do that. So for E minor, instead of which is our sort of normal 12th long tones, you can do it where it does go into the altissimo B. Maybe you can do it. Maybe I can do it. We'll see. And that's what would follow the pattern as it is written for all of the other keys. Again, I don't know why he sort of arbitrarily limits it there, because every single one, if we go up to that, the super altissimo C works as a Chalumeau to altissimo transition. So I think it's worthwhile doing it if you can. Again, all of these sort of smooth into the altissimo exercises are definitely more advanced exercises. So don't feel too concerned if you can't do these wherever you're at now, but keep them in mind for eventually when you do have to do them. I'm going to demonstrate a few more just so you can sort of hear the pattern some more. So we did G major, E minor. Now we're around the circle of fourths to C major, A minor. And then maybe I'll do one more of F major and D minor. We'll see. And that was F major, or if you're feeling ambitious all the way into the altissimo. And I'll stop there because I think you get the idea of how the exercise works, and these screechy notes probably don't sound great over the computer, so sorry about that. But that's this exercise. This is a great one to sort of build up to. I think for doing the sort of exercises that we've gone over the past few weeks, I would start actually with Kelly Burke's fake fingering thing, and then this exercise pairs perfectly with the squeaking through the partials that we did 2 weeks ago, because it's all about like finding where those partials are and hitting them accurately. And with this as it being a pickup into the half note, I'm always thinking about like hearing that higher note, hearing the fifth sort of in the fundamental note that I'm playing on the Chalumeau low note. So I hope that this one is fun for you. This one is one of my favorite exercises to sort of warm up and really get the flexibility going. But I think the other two that we've done in the past weeks are a little bit better to start with and get comfortable with before you challenge yourself with this sort of last test of really getting the smooth transitions to the altissimo. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week on the next live weekly